Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the Wine Country 175 here at the All-American ARCA Series. Today, we're at the virtual Sonoma Raceway, our one and only road course of the season. 7 rounds in of Season 2, and I'm expecting a bit of a bloodbath here tonight at the 2-mile Countryside Raceway. As always, on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name is James East, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we get ready to send our drivers out for single car qualifying here today. Looks like we've got less than 43 entries, so everybody should be able to make it till the main event. But let's see who's going to have the most exciting night here as we send them out for qualifying. We're checking out Ashton Lawrence and the number 34 machine. To see what he can do. Going to be interesting. Are we going to see the full course caution come out here tonight? Is there going to be a big enough wreck to cause race control to bring that out? As, oh my, Lawson getting dangerously close to that outside wall. We've got the poll up for all of our viewers here today. Let us know, will we see the full course caution tonight? We've got two options. Yes, it's going to happen, or no. Race control will be asleep if we have that big of an incident. Race control tonight provided by Joseph Penn. Looks like 36 drivers have made their way out here today to participate in the road circuit. Definitely not the large 40-plus grids or entries we've seen in the past, but I'm having a guess here that maybe Sonoma has scared away a few of our drivers. And it's going to be very interesting to me to see who can actually put down a fast qualifying lap without any bobbles, without any off tracks that will invalidate those laps. It is going to be a long qualifying session for all of our drivers as well around this track. Going to be a long race, I think, in general for the guys. 55 laps around the track here today. As it looks like most of our drivers did a fantastic job updating their driver overlays coming into tonight. We're going to get clarification from race control on a couple of things coming into the evening. As we're still waiting for some drivers to click off some laps, there we go. Matalanis, Lawson, and Ray all clicking off their opening laps. Matalanis on top of pole with a 1:17.7. As 5 drivers have put down qualifying times, the rest of the field coming through. Zach Rogers, he clicks off a 1:18.54. That will be about a half second off from the number 35 machine. Johnny Eckert puts it on pole with a 1:17.36. Let's see who's going to be able to put down some faster lap times on their second time lap of the day. And let us know in the chat as well who you cheering for and where you're from, as we've got Grace Neri tuning in as well. She's been cheering on Andrew Neri in the 654 machine from all the way up in Canada. Good to see Grace tuning in as always. Supporting the goofy but lovable Andrew Neri in the 654 machine. Neri currently qualified in 17th on his opening lap, was a 1 minute 20.94. He's about 3.5 seconds off the tippy top of the pole here today. Let's see what Neri can do on his second time lap. Does he improve on a 120.94 here today? He does with a 119.89. And he will come to a stop here in qualifying. Let's see who else is making their way out on track. Nick Terrell, number 81 machine, Doritos back race car. Currently qualified 24th out of the 27 drivers that have put down time so far here today. It's still Eckert on top of pole with a 1:17.36. Madalanis qualified second. Tooker currently holding the third spot here today. Going to be interesting to see how important qualifying is to get those good opening laps and just trying to avoid any carnage out on the circuit. As Terrell will make his way around the last time. Check out Patrick Hernandez's progress. He's going out a little bit late here in qualifying to try and put down his times. Let's see what Hernandez can do. Gonna be very interesting to see what happens here today. I mean, I'm not quite sure. We've got 36 drivers. Hernandez and Simpson haven't put down times yet. Simpson just now making his way out on track with 3 minutes left here in qualifying. Hernandez comes way up the standings, now qualifying 19th after a 1:19.85. And now I think it's going to be just one driver out on track, John Simpson Jr. making his way around in the number 65 machine. But I'm curious. I think if we can get through the first 2 laps here at Sonoma without any major incidents involving multiple drivers, I think we're looking relatively all right to run this thing green all the way to the end. But, oh, Simpson's not going to get that qualifying. Looks like it was an 8-minute qualifying session today. For some reason, I thought it was a 10-minute session. As we're going to get ready to grid them up here at Sonoma for the Wine Country 175. As we wait for our drivers to make their way out onto the grid here today, a beautiful sky shot of the countryside. Oh, it's going to be a very brief warm-up, I think, with all of our drivers making the main event, so nobody getting sent home early here today. But who's going to be the first driver back to the holler with a wadded-up ARCA Menards car? As this is a tough road course for our guys to make their way out. We've got Spino Racing joining in as well, cheering on 04, the John Lynch driver. I am very intrigued. Practice looked a little hairy for these drivers. A lot of guys were out here trying to put down hot laps, and we're having a hard enough time holding on to the track. We got Philip Penn saying he's predicting a little bit of carnage here on the opening laps. I think I would tend to agree. I do like how we're following the iRacing Porsche car out for the safety car. That's a nice touch. All right, let's run through the grid. Jumping Johnny Eckert in the top spot, the number 90 machine. Hunter Montalana starting second. David Tooker third on the grid. Casey Carrington starting fourth. Finley Fitzsimmons starting fifth. Zach Rogers will be sixth on the grid. James SoundCloud Silver starting seventh. Ashton Lawson starting eighth. Matthew Weeks starting ninth. Christopher Heller starting 10th. Brandon Markuski starting 11th. Elliot Henderson starting 12th on the grid. DJ Weeks Jr. starting 13th. John Lynch will be 14th. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous Australian, starting 15th. Lane Doyle starting 16th. Alex Penn, the road race phenomenon, starting 17th. Michael Vandermeet starting 18th. Patrick Hernandez starting 19th. Andrew Neri starting 20th. Carol Steele starting 21st. Justin Ray starting 22nd. Jacob Beskinen starting 23rd on the grid. Clay Cantrell starting 24th here today. Robert Hill Jr. starting 25th. Zach Roethlisberger will be 26th. Ron White starting 27th. David Westergreen, another fantastic broadcaster, he's starting 28th. Justin Bentley starting 29th. Randy Benami starting 30th. Nick Terrell starting 31st. Devin Scroggins starting 32nd. Tyler the Weapon Evans starting 33rd. Craig Martin starting 34th. Shane Gentry starting 35th. John Simpson starting 36th. And that will round out a massive grid here today. We've got 2/3 of the Penn boys tuning in and saying hello. You got Philip Penn. He is father to our race control tonight, Joseph Penn, as well as Alex Penn, who will be out here today racing in the number 30 machine. Joseph Penn in his own respective booth, while Alex Penn will be starting about 17th on the grid here today. Right now, it looks like 67% of our viewers are saying we will not see the full course caution here today. And here we go. The pace car will come in here at the Wine Country 175. This first lap is about to get all sorts of exciting here, ladies and gentlemen. It's Modelanis and Eckert on the front row, going to charge the field up into turn one. As it looks like so far, the field getting well through here. Look at the wide angle shot of just how massive things are going. The pack stretching all over the track. We've got one incident sparking up, though. That's Clay Cantrell involved in that one. A bit of a parking lot, it appears. And let's go back up front to your race leaders. It's Eckert and Modelanis making it through nice and clean so far. Not having any big issues. And look at the current cam here today at Sonoma, showing just how much the drivers do not have to make any big moments. But so far we got through the opening lap without any big problems. Andrew Neri involved in an incident. Let's see what happened to our boy in the 654 machine. Just the rear end gets loose and he's going to drill that wall. Does a fantastic job blocking up onto the brakes though to avoid coming out on track in front of any other drivers. Johnny Eckert still out front, Madelana second, Tooker third, Carrington fourth, and we've got more carnage going on towards the back. It shows Veskinen and Robert Hill joining that. Two teammates may have gotten into each other. We're watching to see what happened to Veskinen. Hill is just ahead of the number 89 machine. Oh no, is that two teammates that got into each other? I think it was. Andrew Neri, he takes a tow back to pit road, as well as Clay Cantrell. Carrington currently fourth on track, right behind him, Fitzsimmons and Ashton Lawson putting on a show. Lawson, the number 34 machine, he's up 2 spots here early tonight. But inside the top 5, not much has changed. Everybody's still running the same position that they started, despite a little bit of back and forth. Oh, and there goes Lawson. Gets yeeted around in a terrible spot. He's going to pull right back into traffic. And that's going to take out, I believe, Brandon Barkuski and Elliot Henderson as well. So now Fitzsimmons will hold on to 5th uncontested. Zach Rogers in 6th. Brandon Barkuski has another moment as well. I'm wondering if he's driving around with heavy damage. Let's take a quick peek and see what happened. Oh, they're still crashing from that incident. Barkuski is all sorts of wadded up, dragging it. Looks like he cut a front right. And he will take a tow back to pit road as well instead of trying to limp it around the track, knowing his night is most likely over. Who was that? Was that Justin Bentley? It was. Everybody's dropping like flies out here. Up front, your top 3, Eckert, Madelonis, Tooker, not having too many worries or issues. We go further back in the pack. Michael Vandermeer trying to catch up to the world-famous Australian driver, Gareth McAllister, in the 888 machine. Vandermeer in the Skittles paint scheme. He's also getting chased by Elliot Henderson, who was involved in that massive pileup. We had a driver pull right back out in front of traffic. But we have not seen the parking lot that we expected. Veskinen having more problems than number 89 machine. Spins it around, gets pointed right back in the right direction. Well done. As no, Henderson and, was that Vandermeer involved? Or is that Penn? I think that was young Penn, number 30 machine. Not sure if he got back into the back of Henderson, or if maybe Henderson started to spin on his own and Penn had nowhere to go. Oh no, Alex Penn shunted Henderson there. It'll be interesting to see if there's any bad blood later on. Now Penn has given the position back to Henderson. Nick Terrell, Finley Fitzsimmons, both involved in incidents. Let's see what happened to Fitzsimmons. It looks like he's pointed back forward again, and I don't see Terrell in the same vicinity. So I'm not sure if that was a single car incident or what the issue may have been. Andrew Neri gets back out on track after 3 minutes down pit road. We came for great racing and big crashes, and so far tonight seems to be delivering. Oh, Fitzsimmons has a big blink. As Eckert comfortably out front, 2.6 seconds ahead the rest of the field here. as he dives into the sharp right-hander. We take a quick look. There is your race leader, Eckert, giving himself plenty of space. The outside wall, but some drivers cutting it very, very close here. That was Modelanis and Tooker coming through. Justin Bentley leaves pit roads and then immediately wads it up, it appears. Hernandez, he's off track. Wonder if he's going to take a tow here. I'm assuming he is. Or is he stuck, perhaps? Casey Carrington has Zach Rogers right in tow. This will be the battle for fourth. Carrington in the all-red number 9 machine. Rogers in the primarily black painted number 57. Diving into the horseshoe. I guess they call it the hairpin here. Bentley has another incident. He takes it back to pit road. Checking in on Alex Penn. He's running 15th here today. Trying to catch up to Lynch. Now he's made his way back around Elliott Henderson after their earlier incident. And now Penn is trying to work on John Lynch. Ron White, he has an incident, number 27 machine. It seems to me that most of the incidents here today are drivers just maybe not accounting for different brake marks and kind of getting into the back of their competition. Let's see, Craig Martin, Randy Benassi, they have a crash of their own. Benami gets in the back of Martin. I'm not sure if Martin was maybe coming around there, and that's what caused that incident. Carrington and Rogers still leading us around the track here in that battle for fourth. Now they've also got, I believe that's going to be Christopher Heller in number 11 machine. Carrington gets pushed wide there. That may allow Rogers in position going into turn 1, but Carrington's going to have the inside line. Who's it going to be up the hill? It'll be Zach Rogers taking over in fourth place. He is up 2 spots tonight in the number 57, as Carrington is now down 1 spot from where he qualified. You know who's got to be happy tonight? Race Control. Not having to throw the caution in the opening 2 laps that I was expecting for it to happen. As this is the closest battle out on track, Rogers, Carrington, and Heller putting on a great show here today. They are about 6 seconds of Silvers, who is running 7th on the circuit. Man, oh man, it's a lot of drivers having a rough go of it here today. We started with 36 drivers. We have 29 still on the lead lap, and then Carrington, he sends it around as well. That has been the story of the night for a whole lot of drivers here today. Checking on Clay Cantrell, number 8 machine, currently running 34th overall, down 10 spots from where he started. And he will find himself several laps down here, that number 8 machine, after getting it mostly put back together. Elliott Henderson now putting the pressure on Carolus Steele, who's in 16th. And then Tyler Evans, he's involved in an incident as well. That was between him and Shane Gentry. We've seen this same position give the drivers so many problems. Again, I think this is going to be that different braking points we were talking about. Yep. Evans just gets pushed around and then driven through. Now we got Philip Penn asking, what's the fuel window tonight? In theory, it'll be a one-stop race, so about the halfway mark as we watch Evans have another rough go. So expecting most of these drivers coming around the lap 27-28 driver to take, lap mark, to take 4 fresh Goodyears and a full tank of gas. Here's a battle between two very likable drivers. Alex Penn in 13th is challenging Gareth McAllister in the 888 machine. McAllister, our lone Aussie on track, having to fend off against a road racing extraordinaire. Ooh, McAllister pushes wide there. That may allow Penn an opportunity to capitalize, as well as Lane Doyle, who's going to try and get in the mix in that number 32 machine. Penn will take the position without any qualms or worries and move that number 30 machine up into 12th. We also have the battle for second really heating up here between Matalanis and Tooker. Ooh, Matalanis may have went in too deep there using the cone to try and slow himself down. Matalana still having a relatively good night here in that number 35 machine. He's only down 1 spot from where he started. And he's going to do his best to chase back down Tooker. But a podium here at All-American ARCA is quite the accomplishment, as I believe the sun's starting to go down for the drivers. And you may see the lap time start to drop, especially after they come in around that halfway mark. Throw on some fresh tires and a full tank of gas. And if we have a little bit cooler track, may see some fast lap times get dropped. Right now, it's Eckert still in the fastest lap of the race, a 1:17.82, but the pace is starting to fall off as most drivers are over a second and a half slower than they did early on. Jack Lundy saying there's a heated battle between Fitzsimmons and Carrington out on track. Right now, Fitzsimmons about 3.6 seconds back from Carrington. And oh no, McAllister involved in an incident right as Fitzsimmons has a big bobble as well. McAllister gets it pointed back in the right direction, not seeing any big problems on that machine, so thankfully he's going to get going again. Carrington about 3.5 seconds back from 5th place Christopher Heller, and about 2.5 seconds ahead of James Silvers here. Oh, what was that? That's a big crash. Veskinen and Cantrell may have gotten into each other. And I wonder, is that Carrington as well? Watch the number 89 machine. That is Veskinen and Clay Cantrell right behind. Ooh, shunted out of the way, and I think that collects Carrington as well. So now lap traffic's starting to really be a factor for all of our drivers. As we have 23 drivers on the lead lap, and I think we'll be putting some guys down another lap here shortly. Ooh, your race leader jumping Johnny Eckert cuts it a little bit too deep inside. That'll slow down his momentum up the hill and allow Tooker to really gain some time here. Checking in on Silvers, he's got himself a battle involved in 6th place. Here comes Fitzsimmons. But Fitzsimmons with the rough internet connection here today, international driver, not having the same fortunate ping that some of the other guys are having to the server, as this will be the battle for 6th place. Looks like both drivers have about the same amount of drive out of the corner. Carrington and Gentry make their way to the pits to try and get some repairs done on their race machines. And we'll go ahead and pull up live time and score on the left side of your screen so you can see where your favorite driver is out on track. Looks like about 5 drivers have retired early for the evening. Cantrell, Bentley, Barkuski, Lawson have went back to the hauler. And pit road for extended pit stays, you've got Shane Gentry and Carrington getting those repairs done. As we were watching the closest battle out on track between Silvers and Fitzsimmons. I think Fitzsimmons had a bobble there as he lost about 0.3 of a second to the number 17 driver. Another battle out on track. Vandermeed getting pressure from Alex Penn. Running nose to tail here. Not a lot of room for error for any of the drivers. Scroggins has an incident. And the number 8 was actually disqualified for retaliation. So that was the number 8, Clay Cantrell. Who has been removed from the race here tonight. Not something you see very often. I'm going to watch that from Cantrell's point of view here. And see just what brought out the black flag for the number 8 machine. So I'm not sure what happened earlier on between himself and Veskinen, but it was enough to catch the ire of Race Control. Race Control giveth and Race Control taketh away here at All-American ARCA. Now, throughout the broadcast, you'll see the occasional message at the bottom of your screen that is directly from Race Control, giving us an update of things that may be going on that we don't quite catch up here in the booth. So keep an eye on those alerts throughout the broadcast. We've got this battle unfolding as well as the battle for 6 between Silvers and Fitzsimmons. Right now you're watching Michael Vandermeed, the number 7, and Alex Penn in the number 30. As that is the 195 of Benami, who is a lap down from these guys at this point. But where is Penn going to try and make a move here? Not a lot of passing opportunities when everybody's holding on for dear life on the circuit. Oh, but Vandermeed makes it easy. Might have got a little bit too hard on the brakes. The front end locks up. Penn will get the position nice and easy. Other battles out on track. David Westry, number 93 machine, catching up to Ron White in the battle for 19. Martin and Simpson go off track. Everybody tries to get a point in the right direction to keep out of the way of all their competition. But White and Westergreen were able to get through nice and easy, no problem there. As we're waiting to see if the number 93 machine of Westergreen in that bright pink machine can try and make a move on the Fanta-backed number 27 of Ron White. Now, Hairpin has been one of the most exciting places for passing. As Race Control giving us updates for lap 1, 2, 5, and 7 for drive-throughs. That's the number 89 of Feskin, and the 34, the 195 of Benami, the number 26, all getting drive-throughs. Poor Tyler Evans, he's having a very rough race here today, and he has binned it in the hairpin as well. There's been a lot of drivers having a rough race here today. Benami goes off track. That allows Simpson to pick up a position in the number 65 machine. I can't believe we had this many drivers still out on course at this point of the race. Not even to the halfway mark, we've seen more crashes than I can possibly remember. And now we're about to see a battle for possibly 22nd, as it looked like Nick Terrell was gaining major ground on Devin Scroggins in the 66 machine. But Scroggins able to put the power down, stretch his legs to another 1.5 second gap between himself and the 23rd place driver of Nick Terrell. But then Scroggins pushes wide. And he will lose a little bit of ground out here. Lane Doyle catching up to John Lynch in the battle for 13th. Lynch is up one spot from where he started. Doyle is up 2 spots. And ooh, Lynch holds on to it heavy under the brakies into the hairpin. Still able to maintain a fairly good drive out of the start-finish line straight. As Lane Doyle sends it sideways for the fans, putting out a little bit of a drift show. These ARCA cars not really designed for road courses, but everybody doing a fantastic job making it happen where they can. Everybody pushing so hard here, and it looks like, now that's lap traffic that Lynch got around. Doyle still following in tow. Matthew Weeks, he's being pressured by Elliott Henderson in the battle for 11th. Fitzsimmons comes down pit road on lap 18. And Henderson makes the move up into 11th. Now, curious to see Fitzsimmons come down pit road so early on. I'm not sure if maybe he got a drive-through, maybe had some damage on the machine. As it's been great racing for the most part all over the track here today. As the field fairly stretched out, you've got Careless Steele with Gareth McAllister right behind in the battle for 14. There's, I believe that's going to be Doyle on the inside line, a little bit damaged. Carrington makes his way back through the field here, trying to get his laps back, but with no full course cautions, it's going to be a long night if you find yourself a lap down. Martin, Scroggins, Weeks all come down pit road. I'm assuming Doyle will as well here shortly with the heavy damage he has. Fitzsimmons and Hill linked up in 16th and 7th place. They will also come down pit road at the lap 19 mark. No, they will not. My apologies. That was just a regular hairpin. That was Doyle that came down pit road. Weeks is in his pit stall, so now Fitzsimmons and Hill will move up to 14th and 15th place respectively. Fitzsimmons going for the two-stop strategy here today. A big gamble, but with how the field's kind of going on here, maybe the fresh tires is the magic answer. As Thiel and McAllister put on a show. Thiel up 9 spots in the 01 machine. McAllister up 2 spots in the 888. Carrington watching to see where he can get through after having a race possibly ruined with that early incident. Looks to be about 20 drivers still on the lead lap. Weeks and Doyle in pit road for an extended vacation. And oh no, Gareth. Oh no, Thiel, everybody. Things are getting wild out here. Fitzsimmons and Thiel. No, Fitzsimmons gets through nice and easy. Thiel and McAllister send it Tokyo drifting around the hairpin. Carrington's going to take this opportunity to squeeze by and say, all right, I almost got collected. Don't want to get myself in that position again, because you have to trust yourself and the other drivers out here week in and week out in the All-American ARCA Series. As tonight is all about survival for a large portion of the field. We go back up front to Johnny Eckert, slicing through traffic, but trying to do so as carefully as he can. Now he's just behind Ron White and just ahead of Devin Scroggins, both lap traffic. White does a great job getting way off the line to allow the race leader by. Eckert ahead by about 5.7 seconds here tonight. Now Eckert trying to squeeze around Benami, the 195 machine. It's a tough track to be making any overtakes, especially when such a large portion of the field is just holding on for dear life here. Oh, it looks like Weeks involved in an incident after leaving pit road. Not quite sure what happened there. It was immediately after he left pit lane. I wonder, I'm betting he comes to a stop and still allow traffic by. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Weeks playing it safe, triggering our lifetime and scoring crash alert. But I've got to say, it's probably a very wise move just to try and bring the car home safely here at Sonoma. Now it is McAllister and Robert Hill battling for that 14th spot. As you got to remember, just a few laps prior, we saw McAllister and Thiel whip it around sideways here. Andrew Neri, the 6x4 machine, trying to come back up to the field, get some laps back, as he's running 30th out on track. And let me be clear to our viewers at home, there is a lot of crashes going on across the track that we're just not panning the replay camera to. Otherwise, it would just be replay after replay after replay. As Scroggins and John Simpson, they have an off-track excursion. As I believe we're down to just 20 drivers on the lead lap, 36 gladiators entered, and about half will lead here safely. As you're watching McAllister and Hill run nose to tail here, let's see what happens going into the hairpin. This is where it's very frustrating for the drivers. You want so badly just to hammer down get that car going forward, but a single mistake, as we've seen several times here today. A lot of drivers have thrown it away. Going to be extremely interesting to see how the pit stops affect some of these drivers, especially as they get used to driving a tight car coming back out of the track with a fresh set of tires. Things will get very, very loose and tough to put the power down. Oh no, that is John Simpson and Tyler Evans and James Silvers all involved in that one. Let's see, man, the hairpin's just taking so many good cars from us here tonight. Evans goes in very, very deep. Number 65 of John Simpson gets shunted around, and then Silvers comes careening into frame as well. The two teammates both involved in that incident, James Silvers and Tyler Evans. Hill able to get around McAllister for that 14th place spot. And you've also got Justin Ray and Zach Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger trying to put the pressure on White. Roethlisberger is up 9 spots. White is up 11 spots. Both drivers out here gaining major ground just on attrition through tonight's main event. As a large portion of the field has not come down pit road yet. Scroggins and Fitzsimmons, the two drivers that came in on lap 17. Ooh, White sends it sideways. Roethlisberger checks up as well in case that fancy machine came careening across the track. And now Roethlisberger pushes wide as well. That will allow White a chance of reprieve here. Randy Benami, who's a lap down, he's joining the picture as well. Silvers and Henderson coming in on lap 25. Up front, Zach Rogers getting closer once more to Hunter Matalanis. Less than 3/10 separating these two drivers. Matalanis going to use that opportunity to come down pit road. Zach Rogers opts to stay out. As that is the 65 machine of John Simpson Jr. just ahead of Rogers, who's now in podium contention in his number 57 machine. Now it's going to get very interesting. Not only have we had lap traffic to contend with for pretty much the duration of the race from lap 10 moving forward, now you're going to have drivers spread throughout the field on differing pit strategies. As Rogers gets around, no, is that Scroggins? Is that number 66 machine? I believe it was the Yoo-Hoo Max car. Robert Hill, Carol Steele going side by side. Meanwhile, your race leader, Eckert, right behind, but you've got two drivers ahead of him battling for position. Deal goes wide to allow the race leader through with no problems. And that was Hill pushing the cone all the way up the hill. That 05 machine. As we have lapped the field up to 10th place here just on speed. So Eckert cut through the field that has not pitted yet. Just absolutely flying out here tonight. Still holding the fastest lap of the race. It'll be very interesting to see what times he can do in that number 90 machine after his green flag stop. all the curbing to help get that car to rotate late into the run. Heller completing his pit stop, as well as Westergreen. Gentry, the 26, looked like he was going to dive out of the way of the race leader. There he goes, taking the wide way around. Oh, Silvers has a smashed car coming to the hairpin. Well, he had a smashed car before he got to the hairpin. A little bit too much curbing there. Thankfully keeps it off the wall, and more importantly, traffic does not tag Silvers, as that is a fast line section to make your way around and find another driver sitting right in your rear, or excuse me, your front mirror. Now Eckert currently ahead of Tooker by about 10 seconds and about 16 seconds ahead of Zach Rogers in third. And we've got a three-way battle for 11th. It's Robert Hill, Careless Steele, Gareth McAllister have linked up once more. Now, and about 3 seconds behind them, they've got Elliot Henderson, who's coming back after his lap 24 pit stop with fresh tires. So once we get that number 37 in the mix, it'll be interesting to see the dynamic amongst these guys, as the pace will be wildly different. McAllister takes a peek in the inside line of Careless Steele, your race leader, Johnny Eckert, making his way down pit road. Steele holds on to the position, but McAllister is going to try and answer back quickly before they get the tough part of the track for these ARCA cars. Now Zach Rogers will get a lap lead here at Sonoma after passing Eckert and Tooker in pit road. Alex Penn should be about in fourth as this cycle finishes. Now he's going to move up to third briefly ahead of Matsalanis. As they both go off track, who's to blame for this one? Ooh, did Penn get bumped there, or is it netcode? I think it's a little bit of combination. So Penn and Matsalanis get punted off in turn one together, hand in hand, having to limp it back around. So now Matsalanis will take over fourth, Alex Penn in fifth. Shane Jensen in the 26 machine, he has another crash as well. That poor pink machine, all sorts of beat up here today. Rogers comes down pit road, so that will have Eckert as your race leader once more, coming out of the hairpin, as Rogers will be in his stall. Traffic making way for the leader. Scroggins allowing Eckert to get through without any big worries here. Tooker has an off track in the 56 machine. He's going to lose a lot of time to Matsalanis here in the 35. Now he knows he has one lap driver of, I believe that's going to be Careless Steele, between himself and the number 35 machine, the Matsalanis. Oh, it's going to be a couple drivers. It's going to be Thiel and the number 65 machine. I believe that's Simpson. Yes, it is. So let's see how quickly Matsalanis can cut through traffic here. now with clean track, Monolon's going to be about 1.7 seconds back from David Tooker. DJ Weeks Jr. running 10th on track, getting a little bit closer to Elliott Henderson, number 37 machine. Haven't talked about DJ much here tonight, but he's up 3 spots after his pit stop on lap 28. 25 laps left to go here at the Wine Country 175. Matalana showed off track very briefly, doesn't seem to have affected him too much, but he's lost about 1.5 seconds to David Tooker here, as now the gap is about 3.3 seconds and rising as Matalana has lost all pace down the backstretch coming into the hairpin. Tooker extending his gap in second place to over 4 seconds here. Alex Penn running 5th on track. He comes down pit road. As we check in on the race leader, Johnny Eckert, we are down to 12 drivers on the lead lap after 36 started, whittling the field down to 1/3 that are still in it here. Penn makes his way out of pit road after about 14.85 seconds in his pit stall, signaling that he took 4 fresh Goodyears and a full tank of gas to make it all the way to the end here. 24 laps left to go. As who was that? Was that Craig Martin pointing the wrong direction? Where's Craig? Anybody see Craig? There's Craig. Waiting for a safe moment to come back out on track as we watch. I think that was Ray or possibly Scroggins that going off track. As I believe Martin's going to try and limit back down to pit road. Zach Rogers shows involved in an incident, which is very uncharacteristic. Wonder if he may have just spun in the hairpin there. Yeah, I wonder if maybe he just got a little bit spooked with the traffic coming around. Just narrowly clips the front end. Maybe not quite enough to register the damage on the front of that number 57. So he will hold on to 5th place. Made it past the halfway mark without the full course caution tonight. I would say it's going to be very unlikely we see that safety car return here today, as the field is relatively scattered out. Now John Lynch, a good talking point in the 04 machine, he has opted to stretch out this fuel run as far as physically possible. He has yet to come down pit road as he runs 7th on the track here today. Scroggins comes down pit road as Lynch dives it into the hairpin. David Tooker still comfortably in 2nd, but look at that. Heller has made his way around Matsalanis. to take over third place fairly late into the race here. Not sure what happened to Madalanis in the 35 machine. Maybe he had some sort of bobble as Heller came absolutely flying around. But no, Heller almost pushes off wide there. So much destruction here today at Sonoma, the Wine Country 175. A very tough track for our competitors. We've got a battle for 16th shaking up. That's Zach Roethlisberger and Ron White. Roethlisberger up 9 spots, White up 11 spots. As always, there were no fast repairs coming into this evening. So if you wadded up that machine, that is it for the day. So honestly, still surprising so many drivers are out on course with that rule being in effect still for the road course. Now Roethlisberger is currently 12th in points. He's got 5 starts, 1 top 10 finish. That was a 7th place he scored at Kentucky and did so with a 0 incident point. So well done. And all things considered, doing fairly well tonight here in the road course that's claimed so many cars early on. John Lynch finally comes down pit road as Alex Penn will make his way by. Madalanis leaves pit road after getting some repairs done. Now Penn is up 10 spots, 7th on track. Now Penn had a late pit stop as well. He came in a lap 31, 4 laps earlier than John Lynch. Most of the field fairly stretched out except for Roethlisberger and Ron White in this battle for 16. $19 laps left to go for our drivers. This has got to be a grueling event for all parties involved. As the crashes have lessened up slightly, there's still a few guys towards the back that have their own moments. As right as we say that, Feskinen has a crash. Feskinen, that poor 89 machine has seen better days. And did he have a mechanical there? Absolutely drills the wall. That is an odd thing to see out of the number 89 machine, just plowing the wall out of nowhere. Fitzsimmons comes back down pit road. He drops down to 7th. Now Fitzsimmons is on a 2-stop strategy here today. Elliott Henderson has DJ Weeks less than a second behind. As now Gentry and Evans putting on a show. They've been having a rough night between themselves. Both drivers very battle hardened and a little shook up after all the damage they've received here today. As entire pieces of bodywork have flown off, the number 26 machine fans trying to grab it to put on eBay after tonight's main event. Evans staying within about 8/10 here. But this will be a battle of consistency to get that top 20 spot. And oh no, Alex Penn shows with a crash. Takes a tow back to pit road. What happened to the number 30 machine? Did he blow up? And yes, Penn takes a tow back to pit road. He will be retired for the evening. What an odd night for a lot of the drivers. As Henderson still has DJ Weeks breathing down his neck in that top 5 battle. Henderson running 5th, up 7 spots. DJ in 6th. He's also up 7 spots here today. The only driver holding on their position inside the top 5, the top 10 really, is Johnny Eckert. Ray has a big crash coming up to the hairpin. Gets a little bit squirrely, and wow, just sends it around. I think it's the first time we've seen somebody crash there tonight. Quickly backs out of the way to avoid getting run over. Now, are we going to see Weeks be able to make a strike at Henderson? Still 16 laps left to go for these guys. As Weeks still staying within about 3/4 of a second of Henderson, but not really making any big ground here. Last time by, Henderson was about a 10th faster than the number 97 driver of DJ Weeks Jr. Well, it looked like Henderson was about to have traffic in front of him. That could have been a car somewhere maybe on pit road that I had picked up, but traffic is probably the unknown factor. Penn makes his way back out of pit roads after 2 minutes and 45 seconds in his stall. As now the field is tightened up in 5th, it's Henderson, Weeks, Matalanis, and Fitzsimmons all within just a couple seconds of each other. He does. Fitzsimmons in the background, you see, get just a little bit squirrely, as well as DJ Weeks. Hunter Matalanis picks up a spot, as well as Fitzsimmons. So now it'll be Elliott Henderson, and oh no, Fitzsimmons bends it. What happened there to the driver? Did he push too wide? Just locked it up and the front end tucked. So now that'll allow Henderson, Matalanis, and no, now they're going to battle between Matalanis and Henderson. Going into the hairpin. Matalanis holds on to it, getting around Henderson. And DJ Weeks gets shuffled back to 7th. Fitzsimmons now back to 8th. After a very odd bobble out of the 06 machine. Scroggins and Lynch have a crash. I don't know if they were together on the track. As well as Gentry has another moment in that bright pink number 26 machine. And then Matalanis goes off track in 5th place. Trying to get the power back down, but he's going to get a slowdown to allow Henderson to catch up here. He does not want that slowdown on the fast portion of the racetrack because it'll just throw down the momentum so much, but it doesn't matter. Fitzsimmons bends it once more. Looking for a safe way through. Fitzsimmons kind of having a rough go late into the race. And just sends it careening around once more. Thankfully the field able to get by the English driver. Almost backs out onto the circuit. Thinks better of it. Carrington takes major evasive maneuvers. Fitzsimmons having major internet problems here late in the run. Now let's see if Henderson will be able to catch up to Montalaz. He's about 2.5 seconds back from the number 35 driver, holding on to 5th place. But this is very quickly becoming, well, it's been a battle of attrition all night, to be perfectly honest, but now we're starting to see it maybe become a major factor as we're seeing more single car incidents develop over the duration of this run. I believe this may be the biggest bloodbath we've had of the season, especially with no cautions being thrown by race control. No need, to be honest. Drivers will be involved in the incident, come back out of track, and then try and hot lap as much as they can. And I think that's where you see drivers making mistakes, knowing they're not going to get those waiver rounds, no lucky dogs. It is all on the driver here to make up time. And as Eckert is about 3.9 seconds ahead of Tucker, there is not a lot of room left for drivers to make any big advances here. As the field has remained fairly spread out despite all the incidents we've seen across the track. As we take a wide angle shot showing you just how spread out things are here today. Closest Evans to move up into 21st. Number 26, Machine of Gentry, received a 30-second stop and hold for causing a crash. So that is why you saw Gentry and number 26 Machine come down pit road with 12 laps left to go. Deal in the 01 Machine, he's getting chased by Roethlisberger. As he will be behind, I believe that's going to be Evans. 22 Machine goes off track to avoid any shenanigans. That's Craig Martin taking the safest spot to park here at Sonoma. Oh, who is that? That was number 23 Machine of Roethlisberger. He crashed trying to catch up to field. That's going to allow Ron White, Gareth McAllister to pick up some spots. Alex Penn in 17th. He's still about 29 seconds back from Roethlisberger. That's exactly as we said. A lot of single car incidents shaking up the field late into the race. McAllister about 1.5 seconds back from White, but closing fast. Has a bobble though. I think White may have as well. And we got Craig Martin crash in front of this battle as well in the hairpin. That may allow McAllister to get a better drive out coming on the start-finish line to try and take up the 14th place spot. He's got a great run on White, but will he have any time to make something of it heading back up the hill? It looks like he decides to back out, play it safe, as his best bet of getting another position will be consistency out here today. Maybe taking a look here. What a gutsy spot to make a pass from McAllister. May have given him a little bit of bump to White, saying, hey, I'm right here. Oh, and I think McAllister's going to make the pass. He does so smooth. He will come out just about a half second ahead of White. Let's see what it comes down to down the back portion of the track. Drivers flicking it left and right. before trying to get everything settled before the hairpin. Now this is a track and maybe a proper downforce car you could run wide open, but in these ARCA cars, they're not huge fans of turning right. As you watch McAllister's car kind of bind up here before getting settled. He's still holding on to it ahead of White, about a second ahead of number 27 driver. Fitzsimmons has another moment in the 06. Uh-oh. Fitzsimmons with a whole lot of damage on that 06 machine. Another battle on track is going to be James Cloud Silvers and Carolus Steele battling for that 12th place spot. But Silvers pushes very, very wide here. That could be attributed to the damage on the front of that number 17 machine, as it has seen better days. Fitzsimmons comes back down pit road to try and get the car repaired. Eckert still holding on to the race lead. He's about 5 seconds ahead of Tooker with only 9 laps left to go here in Sonoma. After watching Silvers do everything in his power to catch the 01 machine of Thiel, as both drivers will move up a position here. Thiel to 11, Silvers to 12, as Fitzsimmons is still in pit road. As it looks like Thiel getting a little bit more comfortable here, stretching that gap to about 1.1 seconds ahead of Silvers. Silver's just pushing very wide in that corner. I think that's where he's losing a couple tenths each and every time. But with the shape that his car is in, as Thiel has a bobble, sends the rear end sliding around. Silver's back within striking distance here for the 11th place spot. Five drivers on the lead lap here late at Sonoma. It's going to be Eckert, Tooker, Heller, Rogers, and Matalanis. Matalanis is in danger. He's only about 5 seconds away from the leaders overtaking him, and it being a 4-car rodeo on the lead lap. Fitzsimmons, after his lap 45 pit stop, is on the back bumper of Silvers, but his internet problems really giving him woes here today. That's going to make it tough to really facilitate a pass, but he's going to try it anyway on the inside line of Silvers. Silvers defends. But watch, Silvers has been historically pushing wide into this next corner. And it's tough to drive against somebody where you don't know where they're going to be. Gareth McAllister also getting closer here as well in the 888 machine, watching this party unfold in front of him. That'll be a 3, almost a 4-car battle for 11. Thiel, Silvers, Fitzsimmons, and McAllister all running very nice and tight here. Silvers trying to hold on here. 7 laps left to go with a heap of damage on the front end of that number 17 machine. Ooh, Fitzsimmons looks to the outside line. Silvers on the inside. It's going to be a tough pass to make happen. But maybe those new tires of Fitzsimmons starting to pay off late in the run. He will take over the 12th place spot from Silvers. As McAllister looking for a way through as well in that 888 machine. Scroggins and Weeks showed us a crash. I wonder if that was the signature hairpin slide out we've seen a half dozen times here today. Scroggins in the 66, Weeks in the 97. And yes, just tandem drifts for both drivers. Fitzsimmons now putting the pressure on Thiel for the 11th place spot. Oh, Fitzsimmons looking for an inside line against Thiel. Thiel defends. But Fitzsimmons with those newer tires should be able to carry a little bit more pace here. Thiel holding on for dear life against Fitzsimmons. Five laps left to go for our race leader, Eckert. Montelanis, he takes a tow back to pit road as he will drop down the leaderboard. Henderson now 5th on track. And here comes McAllister to make it a party as well. Thiel and Fitzsimmons battling hard has slowed down the pace to allow McAllister up in the mix as well. So it's a 3-car battle for now 10th. A very important spot as they go side by side. A little bit of contact. Ooh, Thiel throws it in deep, has the check up. That's going to slow down Fitzsimmons. And here comes McAllister. He's going to make it a party as well. Dive to the inside line into the hairpin. McAllister now up into 10th. Fitzsimmons and Thiel trading body work right behind the Australian driver. So now it's McAllister 10th, Fitzsimmons 11th, and Thiel in 12th. Oh, more contact between Fitzsimmons and Thiel. Thiel gets moved off the track. Let's watch that one once more. Just not enough room for both drivers. Nothing malicious going on there, but that'll have Fitzsimmons in 11th, trying to track down the second gap that McAllister has with that clean air in front of him. McAllister comfortably in 10th. He's about 9/10 ahead of Fitzsimmons here, with arguably the best battle on track late in the race. 4 laps left to go. But Fitzsimmons, I think, has binned it. Yes, he has. Fitzsimmons in the 06. That same spot we've seen collect so many drivers here today. Just too much apron and sends it sliding around. Thankfully keeps it off the wall. And now Thiel will take back over 11th. McAllister will now have a 10-second gap on both Thiel and Fitzsimmons. Oh, Fitzsimmons gets loose once more. I wonder if he has a little bit of damage or may have cooked those tires. As we know, Thiel can make that car relatively wide. Your race leader, Johnny Eckert, just ahead in this battle for 11th. Three laps left to go for Johnny Eckert. David Tucker, Christopher Heller, and Zach Rogers, your 4 drivers that remain on the lead lap here today, late into the Wine Country 175. Oh, Thiel with a massive bobble. The same thing we saw him do earlier. Kills the run. But this time, Fitzsimmons may have someplace to go, and Thiel bends it in front of Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons gets by nice and easy. Careless gets it pointed back in the right direction, minus it looks like a front bumper. A night of heartbreak and frustration for a whole lot of parties. Now here comes Ron White in 13th place. White is up 14 spots here today. But our current hard charger on track has got to be Robert Hill Jr. in the 05 machine. He's running 9th on the track, and he is up 16 positions here today. White staying within a half second or less here of Thiel. Thiel has really slowed down in the fast right-hander between the hairpin the last several laps. Not sure if that's going to be tire fade or car damage allowing that to happen as White takes a peek in the inside line. And yeah, Thiel does the exact same thing that may allow White at the inside line of the hairpin. That is exactly what's going to happen. As now Thiel comes back, but McAllister had a crash as well. The white flag flies for Johnny Eckert, who's right behind the 10th place Australian driver, Gareth McAllister. McAllister still 6.5 seconds ahead of Fitzsimmons here, trying to bring home a top 10 and that 888 Australian-backed race car. Eckert will make his way around for the very final time here tonight at the Sonoma 175. Wine Country event. It has been quite the show. Now let's see where Eckert's going to make a move here on McAllister, or will he, as he just wants to play it safe and bring it home without any incident. As Eckert's got to know, he's got a massive lead over second place Tooker. Drivers on the lead lap here today, and it will be Johnny Eckert bringing home the win. Here at the All-American Wine Country 175. Now we've heard rumors of a jump from these drivers that they may hit on their cool-down lap. Let's see if Eckert does so. He does not. He will pull over safely and responsibly. Tooker takes the second place in the number 56 machine. And it's going to be a drag race for third. Christopher Heller and Zach Rogers were nose to tail here. No, Heller throws it away. Rogers will take over third right at the line. And just like that, the podium running order gets shaken up. It's now going to be Eckert, Tooker, and Zach Rogers bringing home the podium here. What a wild race from start to finish. We're going to try and get our drivers up here into pit road for the podium interviews. And Eckert's going to burn it down here at Sonoma, bringing home the win. Winning by about 17 seconds here today. Still waiting for Tooker and Eckert to make their way up to the waiting room. As Eckert burns it down on pit road in style here today, accompanied by his teammate, DJ Weeks Jr. Going nose to nose and burning it down. As we're going to get our drivers up here into the waiting room for their interviews. Up first, it's going to be Zach Rogers, the number 57 machine, bringing home a third. Zach just narrowly getting on the podium here after quite a long race. Did you expect that to happen, or what was the thoughts going through your head as you went into the hairpin?
No, after I Tokyo drifted through said hairpin about 30, 40 or so laps, or well, 20 or so laps earlier, I thought it was pretty much over by then. But yeah, I saw the gap starting to close, around 10 to go there, and I just started pushing it harder than I had all race, and I guess put enough pressure on him to make him mess up. So it worked out well.
Yeah, it seemed like it went great. Now, was it any fun to drive that 55 laps? It looked absolutely grueling for all parties involved.
It was tough. I had fun. I think it just depends on how everything shook up for everybody.
Well, it's still a great run tonight, getting up on the podium. Now, were you pretty comfortable coming into tonight the road course, or did you have any expectations at all, or just kind of see what happens?
I felt like I could finish well, probably around where I did now. Seeing how Johnny and Hunter were running during practice, I pretty much wrote off any sort of win. But I was confident in my ability throughout the race. It just kind of depended on how everything shook out as far as passing lap cars and all that.
Well, it seemed
So
like, yeah, I mean, it seemed
yeah,
like things
luckily
went
that
really
worked
well.
out.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah,
saying, kind of a gamble for all the drivers on what lap traffic was going to do. I mean, everybody's out there trying their best, but I don't know how many hundreds of crashes we had throughout the event, but it's got to be a little bit nerve-wracking diving through traffic.
yeah, it is always.
Well, Zach, great run out there as always, my friend. Who would you like to give a shout out to that's cheering you on this season?
Just Bobby Mountain for putting this team together. David Tooker for subbing for Tate today. He put on a hell of a run. We knew he was going to do well. Um, yeah, everybody watching, everybody who helps put this thing on, you, Casey, Kyle, everybody. Can't do it without any of y'all.
Well, always a lot of fun, Zach. As always, appreciate you for your time, and congratulations on a hard-fought podium here today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That was Zach Rogers in third place. Up next, we've got David Tooker, the fill-in driver for Tate Lytle, and the number 56 machine bringing home a second. I gotta say, David, not a bad run for a sub driver here at the All-American ARCA Series.
Yeah, that was a fun race. I just want to say thank you to everybody at All American ARCA Series and also Tate Lytle for giving me this chance to come up and run with these guys. There's definitely a lot of respect out on track, which is nice to see, especially for a new guy like me coming in just to even sub. There was a lot of respect for that. A lot of respect on track, a lot of respect from the trying to pass some of those cars going a lap down, but no, just for our race, we started third. Definitely felt like we had a top 3 run going, and we were able to get up there, get past Hunter, which took me a little while. I think if I could have got by him a little bit quicker, I definitely could have maybe challenged Johnny a little bit harder. Kept the gap relatively even throughout the first few laps, or first about 15, 20 laps, and then once the tires hit the fall off stage, it just got harder and harder to, find that extra tenth that you need to gain that ground. And we came into pit stops about 9 seconds back, came out about 11, had a couple mistakes, but we were able to close it from 11 seconds down to 3.5, which is what I was hoping to get out of it. But hopefully get a little bit closer, maybe challenge him for the win. But just by the time I got to about 3 seconds, the tire fall off, it sunk. Just didn't have the grip to quite get there, but I feel like definitely could have challenged him for the win if I got a little bit closer, but it is what it is. I'm happy with second.
Well, David, great run out there, especially coming out, finishing strong, and helping the team out greatly in their time of need. Before I let you sign off, who do I give a shout out to, thanks, or any sponsors you want to get out there real quickly?
Yeah, just want to give a huge shout out to All American ARCA Series. Like I said, they didn't have to do this for me. They could have just simply said, hey, this guy can't run, but they let me come in, not really knowing who I am. Obviously, Tate's known me for quite a while, so I imagine he built me quite a resume. But I want to say thank you to all those guys that helped put me in this car, and also Tate Lytle for also giving me this chance. He easily could have picked anybody else, but he felt like I was the best choice, and more than happy to bring him home a second place. And hopefully he can take that result and keep moving forward, and hopefully bag a couple more wins and see if he can walk away with the championship.
Awesome. David, we hope to see you more in the future, and congratulations again on the second place here tonight at Sonoma.
Thank you.
And up next, the man of the hour. If we can see if I can drag him down here. Johnny Ecker, the number 90 machine, bringing home the top spot, running relatively uncontested here tonight, and picking up another win here at the All-American ARCA Series.
Man, relatively uncontested is not what it felt like. I can tell you that much. Early on in the race, it was tense. I didn't know. You don't really know who's got the long run pace and whatnot, and you don't want to make the mistakes to fall back because you don't want to get caught up in anything else. So, for me, qualifying was really important, and then getting away, trying as best I could, and then before the pit stop, I tried to manage the gap to Tucker, who was in second at the time, and I had a good run out, and then I had one near miss with a lap car a couple laps after the pit stop that kind of took my I think it was like 15-second gap and made it 3, and from there I was sweating bullets the rest of the race. So I it was a lot more tense behind the wheel than it may have looked. That's for sure.
Now, we know kind of everybody's nerves were on edge in the opening laps. Do you think things got better for a little while when you kind of got open track, and then did it get worse again once you started having to cut through traffic?
It was difficult for me. The majority of the field did a very, very good job being respectful of the leaders. But it seemed like there was a couple guys that either, I don't know, like they may have been in their own battles and stuff, and that's difficult to manage because you don't want to give up time that you don't necessarily need to. So at that point, it's kind of like trying to figure out what the best way to let someone go while also just trying to not lose as much time, trying to optimize that. So, I think at one point I caught a bunch of cars that were racing each other and trying to get through that gap while everybody's trying to position themselves in the best way, to continue racing once, quote unquote, I got through, was a bit of a challenge, but I'll be honest, it made it interesting. I wish it wasn't interesting from my perspective, but after the pit stop, it was like 10 laps, 10, 15 laps, I don't know, 20 laps, who knows, of just, it felt like chaos. I had a constant rotation of cars and couldn't really get into a good rhythm, and I felt like that was probably what was costing me the time. But I guess coming to the end, Tucker's tires may have gone, and I started to pull the gap again.
Well, a great run all the way through. Good to have you back up here in the top spot. Johnny, before I let you sign off tonight and celebrate, who would you like to give a shout out to that's cheering you on and supporting you this season?
Well, thank you so much for broadcasting again, and hopefully we made an interesting show. I know the there was a lot going on throughout the field, at least according to the radio. So so I want to thank you. Thanks to the admins for all that they do, but most importantly this week, I really got to thank my teammates. D West, DJ Weeks, and Zach Roethlisberger. I worked with DJ and Zach this week in the practice sessions, just trying to help them pick up pace, and it kind of kept me focused on what I needed to do and got into a rhythm. So, without them, and I worked with Robert a little bit before too, Robert Hill Jr., and between the group of us, it felt like it really kept me on point and focused on what I needed to do. So, yeah, I want to thank them, and man, this was the race all season that I wanted to win. This is the one that means the most. I love road racing. This is a long race. This is an exhausting race, and trying to be perfect every single lap is extremely hard to do. So I'm very, 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 very pleased, very, very happy, and I'm going to celebrate this one.
Well, awesome. Johnny, thank you as always for your time, man. Looking forward to seeing the back up here in the coming weeks, and just an overall great run here today.
I appreciate it.
No worries, Johnny. And that, my friends, is going to do it here for the All-American ARCA Series Wine Country 175, a grueling 55-lap main event for all of our drivers involved. We saw great racing, great crashes, and a little bit of hurt feelings out here on the road course. As always, on behalf of the All-American ARCA Series as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, thank you all so much for tuning in, supporting your favorite league, your favorite drivers, and your favorite broadcaster. We will see you same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everyone.